Welcome to the next LKB Podcast, guys. I am so glad to be here with Jill Turner, who is here in the studio, and we've really got to try not to giggle today because I was on Jill's podcast last year, and we did get into a bit of giggles, didn't we?
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
So funny. But Jill is a personal trainer like myself, as well as a menopause wellness coach as well as many other things under her belt, of course, as well. I just said to her, I was
Some
like,
we can't talk
Jill,
about.
what am I introducing you to as? And she was like, well, have you got all day? So, Jill, tell us who you are.
So, as you said, I am Jill. I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer now for about 7 years, I think. I was dental nurse before that for 26 years.
Really?
And then,
What makes people want to be a dental nurse?
That's what a lot of people say to me.
I don't get it.
Do you know what the truth? I literally left school and there was a job for a dental nurse in the job centre, so I just went for it.
Yeah, that must be how most of them fall into that, surely.
Back in the day, it's when you could just get a job at 16. So I literally went in and I just learnt on the job, and I was there for 26 years. And I just loved it. I went from private NHS, worked in the hospital, worked with special needs children and adults, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so you weren't just based in like a your local dentist?
No, I moved around.
Okay, I love that.
Got around.
Yeah.
Got my name. And then I then started slowly, always had a bit of fitness in me, you know, but I wouldn't exactly say it was my main kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, I just kind of got really into it back in, 2015, 16. My mum got really, really sick, and it was a real kind of like coping mechanism.
Right, okay.
And then I got introduced, and I just loved the industry, and I was thinking, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
So I was about, work out the difference, I'm 50 this year, so 40, I can always do this, 41, 42, I think it was, I qualified.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I was...
My age?
Yeah.
So when I'm 40, I don't want to put another
yeah,
year on myself.
don't do it. And, so I did, I was one of the oldest in the exam group. They were all in their like early 20s.
Yeah, I
and
bet.
there was me like, I got to do it. And I did it. I passed first time. And then I just got into the industry. I didn't go into like the gym floors or anything like a lot of PTs do. I went straight into doing clients, got into F45, started coaching through them.
Yeah.
And then just slowly build up my career, slowly transitioned away from, well, actually COVID made me leave.
Yeah.
I got made redundant, and then that became my main core. I mean, I was nervous as hell. You know, I was this 40-odd woman.
New. That's a big step to take as you're in your 40s as well. Because as we know, there's a lot of life changes once we get to our 40s.
Exactly.
So I'm not surprised. So I bet that was a huge step.
It was really scary because I always had the dental nursing to fall back on. So I was like dabbling a little bit in the PT, doing some shift work at the studio. And then I'd go back and do that 3 days a week. And then, I'd say, COVID hit, got made redundant. I was like, no. And then my bosses at the time were like, no, come on, you just got to fully, and I was like, I need a dental job. Who's there is a dentist?
Yeah.
And it was like, no, you've got to focus on this. So I did. And it undoubtedly, it was scary as hell. I thinking, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
But do you know what? I've never looked back from that point. I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, and you are such a people person. And, you know, it goes back to how I met you that I had to remind you of on your podcast.
Yes, you did. That was so embarrassing.
No, it wasn't. And that was at a dance event in London, which I'd never been to.
No.
Yeah, what's it called? Stay Sassy.
Stay
That's
Sassy,
it.
yeah.
And I went along on my own, and I just remember you being there, and you were just, I think you're friends with the girls that all run it, Steph and that run it anyway. And I just thought, oh my God, you're great fun. What great energy. So, I mean, I'm guessing the energy that you have is much better, I'm guessing, in a way, as a personal trainer, face to face, more so with people like working on themselves than it was.
Yeah.
dental.
I think that's what I started noticing when you've been dental nursing for so long. You can bring your personality over.
Yeah.
And I really loved it more when it was working with the special needs children and adults, because you, in a way, you've got so much more interaction. You've got to kind of make them feel safe, and you know, some were like children, you had to really, you know, and I was like, I love this. And then as I got further into the fitness industry world, I was just loving the vibe, and like as you say, connecting with different people,
especially at 45. That's high energy, isn't it?
Very
very.
You got to be on it from like 5 o'clock in the morning, and
And tell me, how do you feel? Because you just said earlier that when you become a PT, you didn't do like much on the gym floor. And you know what? I'm exactly the same. So we have so many similarities.
So many.
And too many. And we've even dressed the same
I was
today.
just about to say,
we've gone really colourful. I should definitely mention what I'm wearing to my guests in future, so we don't wear the same. So, Jill, obviously you kicked this all off at 41, which must have, and tell me, because I'm guessing menopause has obviously played a part in the past 10 years, or maybe earlier for you, I don't know.
Yeah, about 10 years.
Yeah, and surely you've probably kicked that off at just the right time to help you navigate through in the best way possible, right?
Yeah, it's been really interesting because I've now based it a lot on my personal experience, because it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Did it?
And it was just, it came from nowhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going on mentally and physically.
Yeah.
And you kind of started, and actually when I was just about to go on to HRT, or it was being talked about, it was just when good old Davina McCall was just bringing out the very first documentary about menopause and what it was about.
Right.
So it kind of like paralleled quite nicely with me, and thinking, I got that. Oh, I feel like that.
Yeah.
But what I found the massive impact was being a personal trainer, and then how much it physically changed me.
Yeah.
From training, from coaching, just lifestyle in general. And it really affected me mentally, like hugely. I had to change up my type of training.
Because what was you doing before, and what changes did you make?
Well, doing classic cardio.
Yeah.
Just loving the cardio. I was doing it all the time. I did incorporate some strength training in, to be fair. And I was, back then the guys I used to work with organised a program for me, and I did get good results. I was quite diligent with it, getting the protein in, because I was shocking at that. But then everything was just little things that you didn't realise that were menopause, like fatigue and
aches and
pains, and just the energy level was just different. And finally, obviously, I went to speak to someone, and then obviously the HRT started rolling in, and then I was like, I've got to try and do something here and try and make changes to help others. Yeah. And I was just naturally starting to focus into training women in my age group. Yeah. And then noticing the changes they were having, and it was starting to become very relatable. And I was like, okay, I can understand that. Yeah. And I think it's really nice when you've got someone that can go, I can understand that, because that makes that person feel a bit more safe to open up even more. Yeah. And then that's what I was starting to know. So I decided to do a menopause and wellness coaching course.
Amazing.
Just to get a bit more knowledge.
Yeah,
a bit more
I'm doing the same.
I think it's such a great thing for us women to learn more about, and men. Yes. And such a big thing about the men as well.
100%.
But I think having a personal experience, because you do start hitting your early 40s. I mean, it can go earlier. It can go into your 30s. Yeah. But going into that 40, the 40, 45, and I start seeing women going, I don't think it's perimenopause, but I feel this. And you can almost still see that there's a lot of, ignorance is not the word. You just don't want to know about it. It can't possibly be that. Yeah. So it must be something else. And then you kind of have to go, okay, well, what else is there? Yeah. And what else can you do? And I'm noticing how you think when you go through doing PT, like yourself, we know strength training is huge, and it has huge benefits, and some cardio is great, but you still realizing every day or every week or whatever you go in to see someone else or see someone new, or someone comes into the studio, and they still not fully aware that strength training has such a massive benefit.
No, they don't.
And they're just, well, what do you mean I got to do? I don't want to get bulky.
No, I know. They think that they are the myths, aren't they? I was going to say to you, what are the myths that you say? Oh my God, they just drive us mad.
Oh my God. Again, we had this conversation before, didn't we? About like, strength training makes you huge. Yeah. I can't lift heavy. I'm going to get bulky. Yeah.
It takes a lot of work to get bulky with weights.
Doesn't it? I can only do cardio. I have to do cardio. I've got to get sweat on. I've got to be absolutely dripping with sweat. That's the only way I'm going to make to lose weight. Not eating. If I cut out this and this and this, I'm going to lose. And you're just sitting there and you're just like, okay. And there are benefits of like going to a calorie deficit, and there are ways adjusting. But when we go into the menopause, our hormone changes are so huge, and our body takes such a battering with it, and we can't help it. It's just nature, that we have got to make more changes in how we eat, how we train, and actually going into full on cardio.
Yeah.
You know, we classically start putting on weight. It's just where the hormones, you know, the estrogen is starting to slow down. Get all around the stomach, classic. Get around the stomach, around the hips, arms get bigger. Straight away, women will go, I've got to do 15 spin classes.
Yeah.
It's like exaggeration, but you know,
no,
a week, I've got to go on a 20-mile run, you know, and then they're pounding their bodies.
Yeah.
Also not realising that obviously you're having an impact on your bones.
Yeah.
And osteoporosis and things like that come into it. So you long term, we don't worry about things about now, do we?
No,
like when you're 20.
Until they come, but it's like with anything, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's almost like until something bad happens or you get told something, then a lot of people don't take action.
Exactly.
And I mean, the likes of you and I've always done some form of exercise or fitness. But I am finding myself now in my 40s, and even with my workouts on my app, it's mainly strength and conditioning, because the thought of doing hit after hit after hit, I just think no, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Because one other thing as well with the ladies that go all in and they're like, go crazy, oh, you know, I've got to go gym, I've got to do this. That's what, like with my shreds, that they can't believe how I'm just like do this. And they're like, oh, okay, I thought you was going to tell me to like, you know, be doing burpees in my living room. I'm like, no, that's not what I want you to do at all. But I do feel like a lot of women think that's it. And one thing they don't realise as well is the high protein that is definitely needed, as well as the fibre, carbs and everything else. But it's important on so many levels. And they also don't realise the types of food going through menopause with hormones is what can make a serious difference as well, right?
Hugely. You've got to focus on, like, you know, a lot of fibre.
Yeah, your whole foods.
Everything.
Colourful.
Colourful. Try and get all of your vitamins through, like, you know, your nutrients in your food first.
Yeah.
You know, obviously things like vitamin D, we have to kind of take supplements in general. Everyone does with that.
In England.
Somewhere where it's not sunny. Basically, i.e. us.
Absolutely.
And it's you know, the other thing with menopause as well, which I'm sure many of your listeners will probably get on board with, is because of the change of sorry, what I'm trying to say, the change of like hormones, the decline in estrogen, so cortisol level increases, sugar level goes up, and oh my God, like even at the moment, I've become a bit of a cake whore.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I'm a bit like that with chocolate. I give or take cake.
Now, I was always with chocolate. I didn't mind put chocolate. I would like have it.
Yeah.
But cake, not really.
Oh, now
I've come into a new realm of like, I love it.
Maybe that's all that high energy, high rocks that you've been doing.
Oh, high rocks. Oh.
So tell us about it, because I've had a few friends that have taken part in it. When I see it, I'm literally like, I think, oh, it looks brilliant. It looks awful at the same time, because when I do classes, a circuit class like that at the gym, if I go and attend one and someone's over me like, go, it's like hell. But the accomplishment at the end, I'm sure, is all worth it. But tell us what made you do that.
Right, so I've done high rocks now I've only done it over the year, but I've done 3 within that year.
Oh wow, have you?
Yeah. So my first one was in May, obviously, where are we now? 2024, and that was in London. No, I've lied. It was last November at Excel. Then I did one last May. Am I saying this right? And then one this like.
What are we in now? We're in
Jesus,
January.
right,
Did you do November?
So I did November just gone.
Yeah.
Then I did earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Of the May, and then the year before.
Right, okay.
So within that November to November year.
Yeah.
Jesus, don't give me maths.
I'm the same.
Don't give me maths. People are going, so when exactly did she do it? I'm confused.
I don't mind them in that much.
Yeah. 1980 what? Oh God, that's control. Again, because I was with F45, they started affiliating, or it was becoming a big part of like, and a lot of the members and the owner and that was doing it. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then the training began.
Yeah. And you were like, oh no.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So I did it, and I did it first with a girlfriend of mine, Amelia, and it was good fun. Loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Atmosphere is just it's just next level.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is just, that's what just gets you through. It's just, even though like you're just crying.
Yeah.
Through the...
But it's a bit like the marathon, any kind of big events, everything gets you through, the whole hype around it.
That's something I couldn't do, is a London Marathon.
No, I've not done it either.
No.
I have no intentions of doing
nor
it.
me. So.
No.
Again, something else in common.
Yeah.
And then so when I first did it, I think it's just the unknown, I guess. You're just getting through it. You're putting everything in place that you've learned and trained for. And then obviously I did it the second time. The problem I've had, we talked about this before we started recording, is I think I go hammer and tong so quickly.
Yeah.
And then so the one that I've just recently done, I had a kidney infection before. The one before that, I had a chest infection.
Oh, blimey. It's because you're training so hard.
Yeah.
And also, if it's slightly colder, then, the cold air hits you more. And if you're not fueling right with the right nutrients and everything. I went for one run this week and I cannot stop eating. So because that's what it does to you, innit?
It does.
Like, I remember when I used to run my running groups, people go, I'm so hungry since I started running. Yeah, because you're using up a hell of a lot of energy. To be fair, I can go for a run and feel great after a couple of days. Feel like, I'll fit back into my dress again now.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I think running does do that, personally. But it also makes you so hungry. So
and actually, I love my food. Half the reason why I train, just to eat.
Same.
But it's good to highlight, I think, as well, for like what myself and you've said, is that even though we're personal trainers, we are human.
Yeah.
So even though we guide people and help them, we don't always necessarily listen.
Flipping guidance and some
help. Just in life. But, I don't always I probably wasn't fueling myself correctly. I was probably trying to, as you said, get everything under a time, getting everything and just, so if I do it again.
Did you want to get under your time on your second and third one? Was you trying to beat your time each time?
Yeah. So second one, I was only about 10 minutes over because I literally had full on chest infection that day. So
my friend did as well. Actually, she went. She had her head in a bucket before she went.
Oh, and it was just.
She still went through it, and I'm guessing you did as well.
We still went through it. Every time I was doing the run, I was looking at my family, going, "Help me!"
Oh God.
And then the last one I just done with my best mate, and I think we could have done better. Right. I say I could have done better.
Yeah.
It was, I did find it like hell. But then again, you get to the end, you're like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah, I bet it is. And I think if I did it, I would have to, I need to go in not worrying about a time, which I'd have nothing to compare it to anyway. But I think that's got to be the most enjoyable way to do it.
I'd strongly recommend just if you do it and you've achieved it, then that's it.
Yeah.
You can walk away and go, I've done it. High rocks is hard.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing experience. And you do get a bug for it. Everyone, I'm not doing that again. Next thing you know, you're signing up again.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, Jesus, what have I done?
Yeah.
And then you say, I'm not going on one early this year. I may do another one in November. But that's a very strong maybe.
Have you got a partner?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I say my best mate. I don't know if she'll want to do it again with me. Please do it, Kate. Because I was just shocking. Again, I was just running around going,
yeah, but you can't be helped.
As I say, there's just something about it that's just got this. You just have this bug.
Yeah.
That you just want to do, and all ages again.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God, I've seen some really old people that they put on their Instagram page and stuff, and they're like, it's incredible. Or I think there was a lady as well not too long ago, maybe back in the November one, and I think she was carrying a lot more weight, but she had lost a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
So, and this was like such a big thing for her. I was crying watching it. I was like, good for you.
Honestly, when you're seeing them in like the flesh and you're seeing like these people run past
and you're behind
them. And you're like, go on. That has happened.
80-year-old guy.
Yes, that ddid happen. Yes. I can vouch for that. But you are just in awe, and you kind of like, what, like, wow.
Yeah.
There's it. I just.
Great
and then there's
achievement.
a guy I know who trains at the studio I train at. He's called Alan, and he's older than me, and he is incredible.
Is
like his fitness, like
yeah.
I might be doing a training session with him, and I'm like, he's just he will put me to shame. He is insane. His fitness, and that's when you look and you think, God, like. An age is just a number.
Yeah, it is.
You don't have to be, because you're that age, I've got to do this now.
I know. I hate that. I really, family members bug me with that. And like, my dad frustrates me with that. Like, I just think like he was so fit back in the day. I'd love to see him so fit now, but he struggles and he just can't stay consistent, and it's just so frustrating because you want the best for them, but what can you do?
I think that's with my was with my mum. Bless her, people know she's not with me anymore. But I think dipping slightly back into menopause, but also she was sick. She died of cancer.
Yeah.
But I think that was a big factor for her decline.
Yeah.
Sadly to say it, but I think it was.
Yeah.
I think there was nothing in place. Fitness wasn't a huge thing back then.
No.
And everything was just then if you're depressed.
Yeah.
There's some antidepressants.
Yes,
And she had a leisure centre, and I'm kid you, at the bottom of her road.
Yeah.
And she just there was always an excuse.
Yeah.
There was always an excuse.
And as we know, it doesn't even take a gym or a leisure centre. Like, it's just putting your trainers on and going out for a walk.
Exactly.
Right? Just looking after your health in those ways.
And she just, and I just sometimes I think it's nice to know now that as the next generation come on, like they have all of this stuff that they can see.
Much.
Like my kids, my daughter's 25, Josh is 18, and they are healthy.
Yeah.
And especially for Casey, with even the menopause stuff, seeing what the stuff to do now
absolutely.
that I'm doing, that she needs to do now for when she starts going into her 40s and 50s.
Absolutely.
The benefits. I knew nothing. I knew nothing back with my mum.
So many people didn't, probably before the last, 10 years or
easy.
Probably less than that. But now we're learning so much more. And even on just a general fitness basis, we're learning so much more. So for like your mum's generation stuff, it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. But you're saying that about the learning, even as personal trainers, I'm still learning every day.
All the time.
And that's what I love about it. There's always something new. There's always something. And I like to tell you one thing with age as well. Again, I'm not saying about the age, but it's being more confident into asking questions or asking that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't do it even probably 4 or 5 years ago because I'd be, oh no, I'm stupid. Like I can't ask that. I should know that.
Yeah.
Where now I'll have no problem asking. Like,
and you think that comes with age, do you?
There's this element, I think, that you naturally just.
Is it where you get to, I just don't give a shit anymore?
Yeah, I do think. Yeah, I think there is an element where you just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, well, do you know what it is? Like I'm just going to ask because.
Well, everyone else, wherever you are, is probably thinking the same anyway, or asking the same, or isn't brave enough to say it. So, and I do think that's, so
and I wish
true.
I did, especially in my PT journey. I wish I did. I mean, my old boss, I would probably bore him I would ask 55,000 questions.
Yeah.
But it was because I was so nervous of getting it wrong.
Yes.
I couldn't get anything wrong.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, if I've made a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not like injuring
And was that
someone.
your old boss in dental?
No, that was in fitness. That was
fitness.
In F45. That was Ben, who like really helped me massively.
Yeah.
He was a good kind of like guidance for me.
Yeah.
I think even younger than me, but actually his knowledge was unreal, and I really learned. And then learning on the job as well,
Yeah.
and then getting a chance to then chat to someone else or meet someone else, and then getting their views, and then you're kind of like, oh, I can learn from that.
Yeah,
well, that's a great
amazing.
tip. Rather like opening my eyes and a bit more to not be so scared to go into things.
Yeah.
Like, even today, like I was so excited to come today. Literally only give me a year ago, I would have the anxiety,
Really?
What if I say something wrong? What if...
How long have you been on HRT for?
Well, I've been faffing around with it, basically.
Right,
I'm
okay.
back on it now, but I did come off it for about 9-10 months, but I was on it a year before that. So
Right.
not massively long, I suppose, because it took me a while whether I wanted to go on it or not.
Yeah.
And it goes to the individual. Some people
And
don't
then the
want it.
dosage changes as well, doesn't it? I
And the
don't know a
dosage-
great deal about it yet.
Yeah,
but-
so there's like the dosage can change. You can have patches, you can have like progesterone tablet and the gel, which is what I'm on.
Right.
Some women can have the coil
Right.
and then just have the gel, which was something I tried to have, but the coil failed, you know,
Right.
and things like that. So some women don't want to go on it and go down more of the natural remedy route.
Yeah.
But the thing is we need estrogen. You know,
Yeah.
it's such a big part of our working, our body working, and it's an anti-inflammatory. So you know the joint aches and things like that, which are hell.
Yeah. I am thinking, obviously I was 40 last year, and now everything that changes or happens, I'm like, I think this is it. This must be perimenopause. And then it's January, right? And I am anyone that sees things of me online, I'm standing in the ways that make me look like my figure look the best. Or, if I'm posting something, I typically am. I do occasionally do like a realistic one if I'm bloated or whatever. But quite often when you want to show up as a professional or someone that you want to aspire to, get your body looking like, then you oh, here we go. Now, this is where I lose my mind and then I can't remember what I was going to say.
Oh, I am so on with you with this.
Yeah,
girl.
but hold on. So I was saying about the menopause. Oh, and different things happening. Oh, yeah. So
good.
And then I'm in the mirror. I'm like, oh, I've definitely put on some weight. I never weigh myself. I'm not fussed about it. And then I think maybe I should so I can teach people about the scales, blah, blah, blah. But it's just not I'm just not in that terrible place of the scales that a lot of people are.
Yeah.
But I got on them this morning. And I was like, okay, that's a bit more. Quickly did the pounds to stone, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit more. It must be because I'm in my 40s now. And then I was like, no, it is January. You haven't stopped eating. You've definitely moved less. Although I'm doing my workouts, I know that I've done less movement.
Yeah.
And then so I am starting to. I think it's very easy to start blaming stuff on the menopause as well.
Yeah.
Because when with my guest the other day, who I was talking to you about, Suzanne, she was saying we also, not only are we hitting a time of going through the perimenopause, but we're also going through a point where our kids are now turning teenagers. They've got a bit older. We had this amazing relationship with our husbands before children. Some of us still have, some of us then don't. And we've lost ourselves with our children. So then everything that's playing against us when we get into our 40s, we're blaming on the perimenopause. But actually, some of it's just freaking life. And
yeah.
It's like,
do you know what? That's so true. And I think the two start blending in. And then that's when, you get a bit psychotic.
Yeah.
Not everyone. But you do. I mean, that I would definitely agree with, because that's exactly where I'm in. I'm cut to the point, my daughter's moved out. She's moved to Bishop Stortford now, and she's living with her partner. And my son's going to go to uni in this September, which I talked about on my podcast last year. And now I'm like, oh, it's getting really close now.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you're not running around as much. You're not going to do a school pickup. You're not going to a clubs. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do something at the weekend. Suddenly things become your time. And then
then you've got time to think.
Oh, don't even get me on the thinking. I can think a lot. I can think a lot.
Yeah.
I can make up so much scenarios in my head.
Same. The biggest conversations going on in my head daily.
And I think as well, you get through, I think menopause or not menopause, I think you're exactly right with, you get to a point as well, you've gone through this stages of your life, especially with your partner, your husband, and then that's changing. And then you kind of stop and then you're kind of like looking at each other of like, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Because you've never had that. Yeah. You just become used to this routine. You're all right. Yeah, you're all right.
I'll be like, I can't wait for it in a way because I love my kids to death. But I'm literally like, oh my God, Mark, what flight are we booking? When are we going?
Do you know what? Me and
Free
Rich
as a bird.
Yeah. Me and Rich have kind of just started getting into that now.
Yeah.
I think at first you do have that freeze moment of,
shit.
so we're on our own this Saturday night. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh.
Do they not need picking up?
Yeah. Oh. You want what? I just want something on the telly. But this whole new life opens up. And then again, you kind of like, you're then as an individual, so sometimes going back a little bit to of how you change, suddenly your body's changing, you look different, you feel different. And then you're kind of like, oh, like some things I didn't have to worry about before. And like you're saying, and then suddenly this looks different. And I agree with you, like the scales. I'm not a scale person. No. Clothes and photos and that kind of stuff. Because you're big on it. How
right?
Scales can depends on like time of the month and things like that. But again, you're really real, I think, as well with your stuff. Like you do show like if you're bloated or things like that. And I think everything has to be normalised. Everything shouldn't be like, this is how I look and this is how I look now. And Instagram and social media and that does put a lot of pressure that you have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And I did get sucked into that.
Yeah.
Hands down, I hold my hands up. I got sucked into it.
Yeah.
And especially being, again, you shouldn't use it, but being older, which is a young industry. Yeah. Personal training is quite a young industry.
Yeah, it is.
You are around a lot, with 20-year-olds, early 30s, even 18, 19-year-olds. And this continuous mum role is always there. You're continuously looked as the mum, and I love it. Yeah. But you want to be seen as Jill. Yeah. And obviously everyone knows I'm Jill because I do make sure everyone knows I'm Jill. We've got a necklace now saying Jill with J. But yeah, I do think you start looking at life a little bit differently and having to accept things a bit more in the fact that, you know, you've got more quality time with your partner or your husband, and you think about yourself, you know, these little people don't need you as much.
Yeah.
And now you've got to think about, and I think that's why you see women at a certain age start looking after themselves a bit more.
Yeah.
And go onto their spas or spend time with their friends and things like that, because quality
Few jabs
of
here and there.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That reminds me. And then quality of time becomes really important as well. And that's another thing as well, because I can live on my stress levels. I'm not good with stress. I'm not good with it. And that took a huge impact on my body last year.
Did it?
Huge impact. I went through MRI scans, CT scans. So I thought there was something wrong with me, you know. And I did have a bladder problem, which was caused by severe inflammation.
Wow.
Really. So I was on antibiotics for a month. Well, that's taking £1 pound into my body.
Yeah.
Then obviously, as I've already mentioned, this kidney infection. The doctor said there's nothing wrong with your kidney. I've only got one full functioning kidney anyway. So I'm like, oh my God,
I need that.
Yeah, please don't die on me. And my function was fine.
Yeah.
But I was putting a lot of stress on my body.
Yeah.
You know, training for high rocks and blah, 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 you know, from 0 to 60. And then that's when you take a sip, doing loads of 5 a.m. starts. You know, that the sad fact is you do get to a point where you're not 20-year-old. You can't just bounce out of bed early doors in the morning, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and be like,
yeah.
You
and
know?
I still am a morning person. I love the mornings,
Same.
but I am starting to struggle to get up in the mornings, which I never used to do.
No. And 5 a.m. starts were taking their toll, you know, 3-4 times
you don't
a week.
do them now, do you?
Literally have just stopped. I have just
Wow.
stopped doing them, you know, and like I still get up at like 5:45, 6 o'clock out the door to see a 6:30 client.
Yeah.
But getting up at 5 a.m. to be out the door at 5:15, be in the studio at 5:30.
God.
It was taking its toll.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when it starts taking its toll physically, that's when you're like,
That's a sign.
okay. And now I like, all right, it's only like a month and a half in, but the changes already.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm at 3 o'clock in the afternoon going, oh.
So the stress was coming from all of those different factors. So it wasn't like you were blowing up in a rage of stress. It was actually stress on your body.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
just, you know, early starts.
Yeah.
Not timekeeping very well, you know, like you probably know yourself. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Oh, that client, you want to move to that time? Yeah, sure, I can do that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And
not being strict enough with your own, for yourself.
Yeah. Don't want to let people,
don't want to let people down.
Don't want to let people down.
Same.
And then, you know, admittedly, you're not eating properly.
No.
You're just trying to get from A to B and you're trying to do this and you're not sleeping well, or you're trying to stay up a little bit later.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a little bit into Love Island. Oh, God.
Oh, God, Jill.
I know.
I haven't, and I won't be.
No, don't.
I'm not. And Traitors, although I'm a bit tempted with that one.
Traitors, I love.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, and everyone seems to have a lot more love for that than the Love Island.
Oh, yeah. Hands down. Traitors.
My daughter watches Love Island, and I did have to say to someone the other day, it's all right for my daughter to watch, isn't it? Because I don't see it. It's much less sexual than it used to be. I'm like, good. Okay.
Yeah, it is. And then you just look and you're like, oh, God, they're all jumping up and down and nothing moves. Like nothing. I'm like, how? You know, there's me jumping up and down in front of the mirror. Husband, what are you doing? Look at
That's hilarious.
But, you know, but then also it's a kind of like, I could chill. I go to bed and I just shut off from the world and I just watch something that has like no relevance and it's just easy. And some people read, which is probably what I should do.
Yeah.
Some people read.
I do try. I've got 3 books next to my bed and I am working through them.
Yeah. My daughter's she's an avid reader.
Is she?
Yeah, I'm not. It's not like she saw it from me.
But I used to be years ago. I used to love reading, and then I've lost it. But it's because of technology, right?
It is,
and
right?
working.
And I never really much of a read unless I was going on holiday.
Yeah,
go on holiday,
Yeah.
read a book.
yeah.
I've noticed the last time I've been on holiday, I haven't bothered doing that either.
Oh wow.
I think your brain is racing all
Mine's
the time.
racing all the time. Definitely. So I want to touch on what you've done recently, and that is, which I love, and I'm going to look into this when I leave here because I want to do it because I love working with older people. I genuinely love older people. I feel like that's just always been part of my life.
Yeah.
And so you've been into old people's homes and trained them in their chairs. Tell me
Oh my
about
God,
it.
it literally stumbled across my path. I was just literally looking online and someone was asking if there was someone out there that knew that they could do like chair exercises, mobility work for an elderly care home. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very local to me.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm gonna give this a go.
Yeah.
And I've only just recently started it, so it's coming into my 3rd week. So like 3 weeks ago, I went in, and I mean I was nervous as hell.
Yeah, was you?
But yeah, weirdly enough, I was nervous. I was so. It's weirdly because it's a kind of like you weirdly are still wanting to impress these people, even though
they're older and wiser.
Yeah, exactly. And it is just so satisfying. I cannot wait to go back in there tomorrow.
Tell us about the characters.
Oh, well, I mean, you've got like every like character going. You've got the ones that are just asleep in the chair. They're just there, but they're not really doing anything. You've got the grumpy one who's like, you want to join in? No. Okay. There's the warrior one who's worried. I had one that got up. He's come. You need to sit down. You got to sit down.
And that's hilarious.
Everyone's like, I want to train. You've got the ones that you've got this lady's just amazing. She gets out of her chair and she gives it everything.
Oh, I love that.
And then last week it was. It was literally this old boy, and he was just lovely. First time he wasn't there the week before, and he come and joined, and excuse me, and he was getting into it. He was in his chair, and I just scanned and looked around the room, making sure everyone was all right. And as soon as I come back, he was like this, and he was like, "That's just and I was like, oh shit, you're right, you're right." He was like, yeah, carry no, and I was just like, please, not on my watch. Don't do this to me.
Oh, God, okay, now I'm thinking, should I go and do this? Kill him off.
It was just, what those leg raises was just too much for him. He just needed a bit of a shut eye, and he was straight back into it.
Oh, my God.
I went home that night, and I was to Rich, and I was like, I love it so much.
Do you?
Rich.
I feel like I would.
And the tears were coming, and he was like,
you.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was good. This was going to be the best thing and the worst thing for you, Jill. And I was like, can't wait. Should I bring you biscuits next week?
We'll be taking in gifts and all sorts.
But I'm also now going to look into other care homes near me if they want to. It's so.
What do you do? Half an hour with them?
Nearly an hour.
Oh, bleed now.
Yeah, nearly an hour because
I've got one right round the corner to me actually.
Honestly, it is so satisfying.
Yeah,
and it's just giving these people a little bit of interaction,
so
just
nice.
For a little amount of time throughout their day, and. For us, just lifting your arm out, and you just.
So they're using dumbbells or anything? Just using their own body weight?
No, just using their own body weight. I am going to bring in some little, like the physio bands tomorrow for them, so they can do so it's something different. And we put on some like 60s and 70s or old school music, and you just see them come alive just for a little bit.
That's
and
so lovely.
It's so rewarding.
You've inspired me.
Honestly, it's generally one of the best
and
things.
It's voluntary, I'm guessing, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Voluntary.
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing. It's just I think it's I just love it.
It is amazing.
It's just we're all gonna get there, right?
I know.
Bringing it down.
We are. Let's hope we've got someone coming in to show. I know, sorry. Let's hope we've got someone coming in to show us what to do.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm just thinking, I
I
want to be that old dear, getting up and doing those punches and leg raises.
That will be you, Jill. That will be you. You and I.
Yeah. Let's get it booked in.
Oh, Jill, that's an incredible thing to do and so lovely.
Yeah.
And as you are incredible and lovely.
Oh.
And I'm so pleased you come on today.
I loved it. It's been so much fun.
Oh, thank you for coming because I know you've travelled quite a bit to get here.
No, it was worth it. And well done. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will speak to you soon.
Yeah, speak to you soon.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Thanks.